All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as we look ahead to the matchup on Sunday between the Niners and the Tampa Bay Bucks. All right, let's first look at the Buccaneers offense going against the 49er defense. You know, when you play the Niners, everybody wants to get the ball out quick because they've got big-time names up front, and people look at them and say, they're going to rush the passer. We got to get the ball out quick. So expect the ball to come out quick in this game, which means that the coverage has got to be coordinated and tight underneath like it was in that Jacksonville game. And the one thing about Tampa Bay and their offense is they've got a couple of receivers in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin that have big-time ball skills, great route running ability, and they'll catch the ball in a crowd. So unlike last week with Jacksonville, where if you get close, you hug up on Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley and Evan Ingram, they become not as good of receivers because they just don't have the purity in their ball skills. Evans and Godwin and their tight end, Cade Otton in Tampa, do have comfort catching it in a crowd, and they'll make those catches all day and all night. So the coverage has got to be that much tighter. The good news is that Chris Godwin no longer runs the way he did when he came into the league, and neither does Mike Evans. They don't have that explosive run away from you kind of capability. So all the more reason to play really tight coverage off the line of scrimmage in the short and intermediate areas against these receivers. I think that's going to be a major key. Just watching them on film against Tennessee in their last game, you know, the one thing is, you know, Mayfield is not the biggest quarterback. He kind of throws from a low arm trajectory, so you can bat down balls on him. He can get balls knocked out of the sky. He does have some really good receivers that will make plays. So if they get any kind of separation at all and he puts it on them, it's caught. I mean, they're very, very consistent with how they catch the football. Now, they have one back in Rachaad White and another back in Chase Edmonds. They throw it more to Edmonds than to White. But in this game against Tennessee, they did have a 42-yard touchdown where Mayfield threw to Rachaad White on a screen pass. Expect to see a lot of screen passes in this game. Why? Because the 49ers have struggled to defend the screen pass. So you're going to get what you can't defend. And Edmonds can catch those screen passes, and White can catch those screen passes. And I would say there's a very good chance that there's 5 or 6 screen passes in this game because the Niners have struggled on film to stop the screens. Now, Otton's interesting. He's actually a little bit more underrated than you would think. Big tight end who makes a lot of good catches. On the offensive line, it's not an elite offensive line, but Tristan Wirfs, the left tackle, is fantastic. And then they're starting Cody Mauch from North Dakota State at right guard. Jeffrey Simmons really owned Cody Mauch, I thought, on several snaps in that Tennessee game. And then Luke Gadecki, the former guard, is now playing right tackle. And Gadecki's a brawler, and he's tough, and he's a really good run blocker, but he's definitely not an elite pass protector. So they've got big, physical, strong offensive tackles. Wirfs has got better feet than Gadecki, but Gadecki is much more of a run blocker than a pass blocker. They don't have an elite back, but they've got, you know, a Rachaad White can catch the ball out of the backfield. He runs kind of upright. He takes some hits. Chase Edmonds is a very versatile veteran back that can be utilized in a lot of different ways. They ask both their running backs to block from time to time, and they're actually above average blockers, in my opinion. So Tampa Bay has got some really nice weapons in Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. And then they've got some speed with Trey Palmer and Raheem Jarrett and Devin Tompkins. But it's Mike Evans looks like he's found the fountain of youth. I mean, he really is a solid wide receiver at this point. He gets separation. He makes good catches. He'll high point the football. You know, a lot of times in the red zone, they'll throw it up high to him. He's very good at contesting the high ball, especially in the red zone. So, he's a very difficult guy to defend for sure in that red zone. And if you're a smaller corner, he'll use his size advantage against you. So to me, Evans is still their number one guy. Godwin, though, is a very underrated player. I mean, he runs terrific routes. He's got really good hands. He's got pretty average size and speed across the board at this point because of the injuries that he's had. He's had some major injuries throughout his career, but he'll make big catches. I mean, he'll make contested catches. He's really good if as far as anything over the middle. He doesn't. Even though he's not the biggest receiver, he's fearless. He'll take hits. He's not afraid to catch it in a crowd, take a big hit, and he'll hold on. So, making sure that you get a hand on the football against Evans and Godwin might be really the only ways to truly slow them down. They're not going to be intimidated if you hug up on press coverage at the line of scrimmage. They understand how to sit in the soft spot in the zone if you play zone. I mean, it could be Baker Mayfield pitch and catch all day long to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin if the Niners play a soft coverage. That's the fear. And the thing about Baker is he's very streaky. So if you can get him get him questioning himself early on, contest some of his passes early on, he won't play as effectively. But if he gets into a stretch where it's just pitch and catch, him and Mike Evans, him and Chris Godwin, him and Cade Otton, pitch and catch all day, mixing in a few screens to Rachaad White and Chase Edmonds, mixing in a few runs, and he's real comfortable. I mean, he can look like the best quarterback in the league. The injury on their offensive line is to Matt Filer, the left guard. So Aaron Stinney probably steps in at left guard for Filer. As I said, it's not an awesome offensive line, but Hainsey, the center, is very smart. Godecki and Wirfs are big physical run blockers. So if it becomes a game in the second half where Tampa has a lead and they're trying to run out the clock, I mean, they're going to blow these guys. Godecki and Wirfs have enough power to blow the defensive lineman off the ball and just run it right at them. So, right behind them, I should say. So those guys are a real force in the run game. So I think that's really what you're looking at this week. Otton will make some underrated catches as well. He's not like you can just forget about him. He's got good size and good hands. Payne Durham, the rookie tight end from Purdue, also sticky fingers, really solid receiver if they go to two tight ends. So this Tampa Bay defense, the offense, I should say, more than anything, I think is going to wind up trying to play ball control and then screen past the 49ers to death. I think there's a very good chance that you see Mayfield throw 5, 6, 7 screen passes in this game. And if the Niners don't defend it well, they may even see more than that. So the one thing that stands out is that Mayfield does take some chances. He doesn't always have a full idea of where everybody is on the field. He threw a pick last week to Roger McCreary where he just never saw McCreary. But it's going to be a lot of Godwin and Evans running to a spot and Mayfield putting it right on them. So the coverage is going to have to be really, really tight. And I think what I'd like to see in this game is I'd like to see the 49ers kind of dare Tampa to throw the ball over their head. Because if they do, I think there's a very good chance that Hufanga or Gibson could wind up with an interception or two because that's not Mayfield's game. But if you allow Mayfield to get into a rhythm and you have soft coverage underneath and he can sit there in a zone and find Mike Evans and Chris Godwin all day, he'll do it all day. He'll play pitch and catch all day, and it'll be a long day at the office. So it's shutting down Rachaad White in the screen game, Chase Edmonds in the screen game, Otton on some key third downs close to the line of scrimmage, and really hugging up on Godwin and Evans in the short and intermediate areas and daring Mayfield to try to beat you deep. This team does not have the big-time speed that some of the other teams have had, the Niners have faced. And to me, I think that's going to be one of the things to watch for is, can the Niners take away that rhythmic short passing game of Baker Mayfield to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin? All right, thanks to Pig in a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Mojo Fantasy. Make sure you check that link in the description at Mojo Fantasy, and make sure you use that promo code Krug, K-R-U-E-G, and you'll get up to $100 matched on your first deposit. And everybody who does automatically is entered into a drawing to win a Purdy or a Bosa jersey in our postgame show on Thanksgiving night. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.